The church smelled like lilies and rain-soaked wood, a scent that clung to my dress long after I'd stopped crying. The organist's last note trembled in the air, dissolving into silence as I stood by my mother's casket, fingers pressed so tightly together they turned white. Then, through the blur of black suits and whispered condolences, I saw him. My father. The man who walked out when I was 18, suitcase in hand, promising it's not goodbye, it's just for now. He never came back. Now, 15 years later, he was standing at the back of the church like a ghost who had missed his cue. His shoulders slouched, hair grayer, wearing the same leather jacket he'd left in. And he was smiling. Not the kind of smile you give your daughter after a decade of silence. It was polite, calculated, like a salesman preparing his pitch. My throat closed. The world tilted slightly. He had no right to be here. Not today. Not after what he'd done. But grief makes cowards of us all. So when he walked down the aisle and opened his arms, I froze. The whisper of fabric, the hush of footsteps, it all became a slow-motion nightmare. "Lena," he murmured, voice soft, familiar, wrong. "You look just like her." My mother. The woman he left. The woman he betrayed. "Don't," I said, my voice sharp enough to cut through the murmurs. "Don't say her name." His smile faltered for the briefest second. Then he placed a hand on my shoulder, as if trying to ground himself in the same past he'd burned down. "She wanted me here," he said. "In her will." That word will snapped something inside me. 2 weeks earlier, when Mom's cancer came back, it was already too late. I moved back into her house, cooked her soup she barely touched, read to her when she couldn't sleep. We talked about everything except him. She never said his name, never cursed him, never forgave him either. The night before she died, she'd asked me to bring her the old tin box from her dresser. Inside were photos, letters, and one sealed envelope with my name on it. "Open it when I'm gone," she whispered, voice raspy. "And be kind to yourself most of all." I never expected that envelope to summon him. Back to the funeral. We stood at the cemetery afterward, under a sky bruised with rain. People drifted away in 2s and 3s, leaving only me, the priest, and him. "She left something for you," I said, my jaw tight. "You'll get it from her lawyer." He nodded, glancing at the grave. "I loved her, you know." I laughed, a brittle, humorless sound. "Loved her so much you left when she needed you most?" "She pushed me away," he said quietly. "You don't know everything, Lena." My chest ached with the kind of anger that tastes like metal. "I know enough." He sighed, as if this were exhausting for him. "Look, I don't want to fight. She said in her will that we should meet. That we had unfinished business." Something twisted in my stomach. Mom had planned this? Why? The will reading. A week later, the lawyer's office smelled of stale coffee and regret. Mr. Danner, Mom's attorney, handed us each an envelope. Mine was thicker, sealed with her handwriting. His was thinner, almost insultingly so. He opened his first. His eyes scanned the letter. Then his jaw tightened. "She left me the old house?" he said, incredulous. My pulse spiked. "The house? The one I'd lived in, cared for, repaired?" Mr. Danner nodded. "Yes, but only if Lena agrees to sell it with you. The proceeds are to be divided equally." My blood went cold. It was a test. One last cruel riddle from a woman who'd spent her life forgiving a man who didn't deserve it. "Unbelievable," I whispered. Dad leaned back, smug. "Guess your mom still saw me as family after all." I stared at him. "You think this is about money?" He shrugged. "Everything is, sweetheart." That word, sweetheart, hit me like a slap. The discovery. That night I went through Mom's tin box again. Buried under the letters was something I'd never noticed before. A small USB drive. On it was a single file. A video message dated 3 months before her death. Her face appeared on screen, pale, fragile, but her eyes still fierce. "If you're watching this, Lena, it means he's come back. And if he has, it's because he wants something. He always does. I never told you the truth. He didn't just leave because of another woman. He left because he took everything we had, our savings, your college fund, and gambled it away. When I found out, I wanted to protect you. So I told him to go. And I let you believe he walked out. You deserve to know what betrayal looks like. So you'll never let it wear a familiar face again." The screen went dark. I sat there for what felt like hours, numb, shaking, the sound of my own heartbeat roaring in my ears. The confrontation. The next morning, he showed up at Mom's house. "We need to talk about the sale," he said, too casual. I opened the door just wide enough to look him in the eye. "You stole from us." He froze. "What are you talking about?" "Mom kept receipts, transfers, everything. You cleaned out her account before you left." He blinked, then smiled faintly, defensively. "We were married. What's mine was hers." "No," I said quietly. "What was hers was ours. You left us with nothing." He leaned in, lowering his voice. "You think you know everything, but you don't understand what it's like to lose everything. I was drowning, Lena. I did what I had to do. And now you're back for more?" His jaw tightened. "I just want what's fair." I stepped aside and handed him an envelope, the one from Mom's lawyer. "Then here's fair." He opened it. Inside was a photocopy of the deed transfer, already signed. "To me," I said softly. "She left the house to me alone. She just wanted to see if you'd prove her right." For the first time, his mask cracked. "You." She always said betrayal starts small. A lie here. A secret there. Until one day, you look at someone you love and realize you don't recognize their face anymore. He swallowed hard, eyes glistening with something like shame, or maybe anger. "Goodbye, Dad." And I shut the door. That night, I sat on the porch watching rain shimmer against the old rose bushes Mom planted. The air was cool, still heavy with grief, but for the first time I didn't feel like I was drowning in it. I felt free. Mom had always said forgiveness isn't a gift to the other person. It's freedom from their shadow. And as thunder rolled in the distance, I finally understood what she meant. I wasn't forgiving him. I was freeing myself.